Another talk. Boy, all kinds of fun stuff. So today's gonna be a fiery discussion. We're gonna talk a little bit about, about how immigrants are replacing, American people, and it's not because they're better at anything. It's not because Americans don't want to do these jobs anymore, or Americans don't have the skills to do this thing. The truth is that most Americans aren't employable anymore today, and it needs to change. So that's what we're talking about today. Not the most pleasant topic in the world, but I think it's an important discussion, and I'll be very candid about people I've hired throughout the years and my hiring practices and things I look for, and the people that I've hired and fired as we go through this conversation today. So yeah, it's not getting better, and it's a real shame. As an American who just has busted his ass forever and never taken anything from anybody, it really bothers me that I can't hire normal people anymore. And maybe you're one of the normal ones, and that's great. But if you have something to say about this particular topic, add a discussion and hit the like button, and let's kick this cast out to the rest of YouTube and get more people in this discussion, because it's an important topic. Because as tariffs and things like that come in, and it gets more expensive to buy cheap foreign-made stuff, as Americans, we're going to have, or business owners, we're going to have two choices. We can hire more Americans, or we can hire, illegal and legal immigrants who are here on work visas, right? And that's going to be the option. And I'm afraid that the American worker is falling behind in a really bad way because they don't do the basics. And the basics are very simple. The basics are simply stay off the drugs and show up on time 5 days a week. That's it. That's really all you have to do. And we can't do that. And I've said this many times. If you take 100 people and you take all the ones that can pass a drug test, you're going to be left with about 50 of them, right? And then of that 50, you're going to have to get rid of anyone that can't show up to work 5 days out of the week, at a reasonable time, be consistent. And you're probably going to get rid of about another half of them. And so out of 100 people, what do you got? 25 left? And of that 25, we're not even talking about skills yet. We're not talking about, not being insubordinate. We're not talking about lying. We're not talking about, the phone situation. I mean, it's really rough out there for American employers. And so, yeah, this is an important conversation. Pushkar's in here. Hello, Pushkar. Good to see you. Topic today is very, very interesting discussion. It's going to be a very good discussion. And like I told everyone, hit the like button, add the discussion, and let's get the conversation going. It's great. My name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. Soccer Brothers, hello. Let's see here. My name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small furniture company. We do about 500 pieces a year. We make high-end boutique furniture. We are known for our high-gloss lacquer coating. We high-gloss lacquer a lot of furniture as well, and we ship it all over America. Most of my clientele is in the Northeast, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, these kind of places, and Miami, Florida, and then Dallas, Texas, right? This is the main markets for my product. Don't do much on the East Coast. It's a small 7-figure business, and I take a base salary every month of about $4,000 for myself, and if I'm lucky, by the end of the year, I'll get to take home $100,000 to $200,000 a year if I'm lucky. There have been years where I've paid in $150,000, and that was during COVID, the busiest time I've ever been. So that's just real business owners and a real business and how it works. So anyway, all right, I'll get into my discussion. All right, so see, Soccer Brothers is here. Hello. Pushkar is here. Hello. Riley is here. Hello. Armin is here. Hello, guys. Good to see everyone. And yeah, so let's get the discussion going. One thing I will mention real quick, I did a talk this morning about taking care of yourself as a tradesperson. I've always believed and was told that one of the reasons you don't want to be a tradesman, especially someone that has to lift heavy stuff or work outside, is that it beats your body down. And by the time you get older, you're all messed up and you're no good and you can't do anything. And one of the reasons to get a college degree is to not have to do that hard work, right? To get to sit in an office, work on a computer all day, and that everything is going to be better. And my talk is basically telling you that a lot of that's garbage, right? These are the same people that also told you that if you do a bunch of running, your knees are going to be all messed up, your joints are going to be all messed up, you're going to have all kinds of joint problems and things like that. And truth is that it's kind of all garbage. And thank God we have the internet, because it's shown us that we don't all have to be beat up as we get older in life. The truth is that the reason most people get beat up in their job or in anything that they do is that they do the same thing for a long time. And Meaning, if you're a roofer and you're shooting nails all the time, you're constantly doing this motion, right, which is a downward motion, right? So things that people need to do is you need to do things that are the opposite, right? So if you're constantly pushing, you need to do some kind of an exercise 3 times a week that is a pulling motion that helps to kind of counteract those things. If you constantly walk straight all day long or walk backwards all day long, you need to walk laterally. Like as we get older, these joints, they will become a little bit, more brittle. Your tendons become a little bit stiffer. Tendons like a rubber band. It tends to move a lot. But as you get older, it gets really, it gets much stiffer, and you can tear it, right? You can create injuries. And if you just do a little bit of work on your body and taking care of your physique, just a little bit, work on your heart, you can do your job for a long time and not have the debilitating wear and tear, as they say, that all these people have always told us that is going to happen, right? So anyway, all right, discussion for the day. So we're going to talk about why Americans are just not great employees anymore, why they're not super employable. And I don't mean it to be a Debbie Downer on this topic, but again, as someone I've probably hired and fired 50 to 100 people in my lifetime, like a lot of people. And you can be the person that says, well, I'm not that way, and that's great, but I'm just telling you, again, as someone who's hired and fired a lot of people in my day, I can tell you how people really are as it pertains to my business, right? And maybe it's just the people I hire, the class of people I hire, the area. It can be a whole myriad of factors. But the point is that what I see today is Americans are literally their own worst enemy. Our decadence and the availability of everything has just made us not really appreciate work and not be very coachable. And because there's always another option, right? If you don't like your employer, you don't like the way your employer talks to you, you don't like the work, whatever, you can go do something else, which is good. But the point is that there's always somewhere else to go. So eventually you can just end up on welfare, or you can end up in the system collecting a check from somebody other than someone that you're providing a service to for a paycheck. And so it's gotten to a point where I almost don't even want to hire Americans anymore. And I hire a lot of immigrants. My wife, I married an immigrant, for crying out loud. My wife is an immigrant. And like my shipper, the guy that literally drives all over America and handles most of my shipping, we do white glove delivery, he's from Croatia, and he says the same thing. Like, he just can't fucking believe how lazy and entitled our country is, and this isn't to crap on him. I'm just trying to give you guys my perspective and what I'm seeing. I don't want to turn anybody off necessarily, but he's shocked at what our country's become. And he's been here for probably 25 years at this point. And this is a guy who was a refugee from Croatia, fled the war, went to Germany and got refugee status, and then made it to America. And now he's been a super successful shipper. He's had his own shipping company, and he just basically ships for us now. And it's a great symbiotic relationship. He provides a great service to us. He's very helpful and really good at what he does, makes our life easier, and then we in turn pay him, right? We pay him a good salary to keep him around. And the truth is that we pay him more probably than we would normally pay someone, because he's been with us for so long. He knows our routes, he knows our customers, and that's worth something, people. And I think there aren't enough people today that understand that being with an employer for a long period of time is a good thing. And this idea that, I see so many resumes where it's just job 6-8 months, job 12 months. You got, a person will have a dozen jobs in a dozen years, and that's just an immediate red flag. That's just an immediate rejection. And I hate to say that because we want to give people chances, but the truth is that at some point, business owners like myself, we just become callous. We feel like we know exactly what a person is before we ever see them. I could tell somebody, tell the situation I'm going to end up with somebody just based on their resume, if they're being honest. Or if I do a regular job interview, I know who these people are. Like I said, I've just hired enough people in my day, and it's sad. It's really sad. And most of these people, they're beyond saving. And I hate to say that, because I'm always preaching on here how we need to educate people, especially young people. We need to give people opportunities and train people and get people working with their hands again. And the truth is that most Americans that I hire, they're not worth a damn, And it's, again, it pains me to say this because, like I said, I grew up poor white guy out in Corvallis, Oregon, and maybe not poor is not quite the right word, but lower class white guy. Moved all over the country to try and figure this shit out. Started several businesses, they all failed. And my only secret to my success is that I just kept trying. I stayed with my employers for, probably 5 to 10 years, for the most part, and just always put my best foot forward, and it always served me really well. And for whatever reason, people don't want to do that anymore. And if you do find someone that's decent at something, they've got a bunch of baggage. They've got a bunch of fucking home problems. The child services is chasing after them for child support, or you got people, their baby mamas show up all the time. They're always on their phone. Just tons of drama, guys. And what the other option is that you can hire an immigrant. You can hire especially a first-generation immigrant. Those are the best ones. Because the truth is that all these people want to do is they want to be an immigrant version of me, which is what I want. I want people that just want to show up for work. They just want to do a good job. They want to put in an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, and I don't have to worry about them coming into work drunk, on drugs, smelling like weed. I don't have to worry about them being on their phones, talking to their baby mama. And the truth is that all these immigrants, they've got families. They're huge family people. A lot of times they'll drive in cars together. Not all the time, but a lot of times. And the truth is that they're just great employees. And a lot of people will say, well, you know what? Those people, you're only hiring those people because they're cheap. And that is the biggest lie that people are telling people out there. The truth is that we pay these first generation immigrants that come in here. We pay them as much or more than we would pay anybody else. Like it's just all there is to it. Because we're not looking to get cheap labor. That's not what this is about. Like, how many times have I said that our furniture is super expensive because we pay American wages to American workers, and we pay benefits, and we give 10 days off a year. It's like we really we try and treat all of our people the same, and we try and treat them really, really good. And like I said, most people work me on an average of at least 5 years, and I've only been in business for 8 or 9 years at this point. So people like working here, and we always take care of our people. But at this point, I'm very leery to hire anybody who's not an immigrant because I'm just tired of the bullshit. I really am, and it bothers me as a woodworker because the truth is that immigrants don't woodwork. They have no, and I'm sure they're out there, but I've just never ran into them. Like I've tried training like Hispanics. I've tried training black people. I've tried training white people, and they don't have the attention span. And a lot of people, they're very nervous about working around tools, and they're very nervous about so many different things you have to learn. They just want to do simple things, and that's really about it. It's rough, guys. It's really rough trying to find good American workers anymore. And I hope that we can have this conversation in kind of an honest way, because it needs to be had. And this idea that employers want cheap labor, or that they're not hiring Americans, because for whatever reason, it's all horseshit. It's just most of us are just tired of Americans. Like, we're just literally tired of it. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing about your problems. I'm tired of hearing about how you don't get enough money, and how there's just never enough time in the day to come to work on time. You can't come to work without some kind of an excuse that you're always late, always on your phone. Don't put your best foot forward. Like, people know when they make mistakes, for the most part, not always. There are plenty of people that make mistakes, they have no idea. But the truth is that we all kind of know, we have an idea if we've made a mistake or we're going down the wrong road, and there's just too many people that they don't even care. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say, hey, I'm kind of nervous about this. Can you go over this with me? They're just not interested. So this is a rough conversation, guys. And like I said, this kind of talk, I'm doing this stream and this cast, whatever we're going to call it, because I want people to know what it's really like to be a business owner. What it's really like to have a woodworking company, a furniture company, paint company, cabinet company, whatever we're going to call it. This is the stuff that real employers deal with. And it's so easy to get online and just say that you have all the solutions and all the answers, when the truth is you don't have any fucking company. You don't got no company. You work for somebody else, right? But when you have to write the paychecks and deal with everything, you get the real scoop on people's problems. You get the real, when people constantly come and ask you for money, they want draws on their paychecks, it's easy to say, well, yeah, help that guy out. And as a human, my first instinct is to say, well, absolutely, no, whatever. But when it happens every pay period, like it just gets old. So these problems, they tend to come up a lot. But if you hire an immigrant, none of them. Not one. I've never had an immigrant ask me for money. Not one time. Not once, which is insane. Other people that I've hired, white guys, black guys, I'll hire these guys. I'll literally let them stay with me for weeks at a time because they've got home problems. I've helped people buy cars. I've given them down payments for automobiles. I've bailed them out of jail. All these kind of things, and we're just done with it. Like, America's in trouble if we can't get back to where you just come to work, do your job, hang out, talk some shit at work, make some stuff, and come home, hang out with your family, and we just can't get back to whatever that was. We're in deep shit, and truth is that most people have zero impulse control, and all these states that are passing these, that are legalizing weed and stuff like that, most people can't handle that shit, guys. Like, I'm sorry. They just can't. And it's terrible to say that because people should be able to do whatever they want. I'm a proponent of, I'm pretty libertarian on most things, but I'm getting tired of the drugs. And I'm seeing there's too many people doing too many things that are detrimental to their well-being. They're detrimental to everybody's well-being. And nobody is willing to say, you know what, this shit's got to stop. And it just bothers me. It's like, all I want to do is come in and make furniture, paint furniture. I don't want to, deal with your bullshit. I don't mind every now and again, but geez Louise, guys, like it's just gotten really bad, So, okay, go through a couple comments and we'll continue. Okay, who else we got here? The Soccer Brothers. Okay, I evaluated guess. How many people works in the job that you were talking about? Okay, so I currently have, I think I have 9 employees, 8 or 9 employees at this point. I've got, right now I've got 1.5 furniture makers. I have a salesperson, I've got a painter, an assembler, 2 sanders, and 2 shippers. So I don't know what that is, but that's kind of people that work for me. And, when I do payroll's generally, oh gosh, what is payroll? Payroll's probably, I don't know, 40 grand a month, 50 grand a month. I would have to go look at it, So we're paying our people okay, and everyone seems to be pretty happy for the most part. But it's an expensive business. Like, building furniture is an incredibly capital-intensive business, and the margins aren't as great as we would want them to be. It's not like a tech company or selling some digital product or like YouTube advertising. Like, that's basically how furniture makers make their money now, is they just do YouTube. Because it's a very hard way to make a living, So anyway, so I got 7, 8 employees at this point, and they're all pretty happy, and it's going good. We just hired a new person. Oh God, I want to say last week, So we're starting to hire. We're as busy now as we've ever been, which is good. I think that says something about our product and the people that work for us. So Soccer Brothers, I hope that answers your question. Matina's in here. Hello, where do you live? Okay, so our shop is in St. Louis, Missouri, and you can Google the Resplendent Crow. And we're a very well-known furniture maker, very well-known paint company. We have a massive presence on the internet, and we do a ton of internet advertising. And that's why I'm always telling you guys, like, I am an authority on how to start a business because we've done it. And I understand the advertising side, I understand the websiting, how to do all that stuff. I understand marketing. I understand what it means to make a really nice piece of furniture that a lot of people want to buy. So I don't make, random one-off, stuff that I'm looking to, make content for. Like, we have to sell furniture here and paint furniture here that people actually want. So it's a good business, and we do a fair amount of custom work, but it's not all custom. Custom work's probably, I don't know, 10% of our revenue streams. Most of it is customer pieces. Customers will have their own furniture. They've had their family for a long time, and rather than throw it out, they'll send it to us, and we'll paint it for them, and then we'll send it back to them. And it's a good business, So basically, every time someone sends me a piece of furniture, we'll have one of our shippers, when they're going that direction, pick it up, and then they'll bring it back here. We'll fix it up, we'll paint it, and then when our shipper's heading back to, say New York, we'll take it back to New York and deliver it. And on average, you guys can think, if you want to think about numbers. So if I was to take your dresser, and we'll just say you live in New York, since that's an easy place, I'll probably charge you $2,200 to $3,000 to come pick up that piece, high gloss lacquer it, fix it, whatever needs to be done, and then deliver it back into your home. So it's It's a lot of money, but it's a good value considering how much manual labor goes into doing that job, right? I mean, someone coming into your home, picking that thing up, bringing it back here, fixing it all up, making sure it's good again, and sanding it, priming it, sanding it, painting it, painting it again, putting it back together, wrapping it, and bringing it back to your home. So it's a very labor-intensive job, and it's good for it's good service. And the truth is because most people don't want to do all the work that it takes to make all those tasks, work. And it's a pain in the ass, to be quite honest with you. But I don't know any different, and it's the only thing I want to do. And the truth is that it's very difficult to get Americans that want to do that work. We've had, oh God, let's go through. Maybe we'll tell some stories here. Let me take a drink here. I'll tell you guys some stories about different aspects of our business and the people that we've tried to hire and the attempts that we've made to start careers for people. I love these Monster Energies. Holy hell. Anyway, so shipping's a very difficult business to be in. It's like people always say, oh, it's so hard on your body and lifting things and dealing with blah, blah, blah. Like that's part of it. But the truth is that the thing about delivering furniture that's more difficult than anything is navigating big cities, navigating exclusive cities, getting up to like Martha's Vineyard, New York high-rises, and all the bullshit that you have to deal with to get in and out of these places. It takes a special person to know how to do that. And anyway, over the years, like I said, I've had my guy Al's work for me for I think 9 years at this point, basically since the company was started. And we've tried to get him numerous people to learn the shipping trade, right? Because I mean, Al's made fantastic money his entire career. I mean, he's a six-figure guy and just drives all over the place, loves it. I mean, goes out to California, goes to New York, goes down to Corpus Christi, Miami, up to Chicago, like just wherever. He just goes wherever he needs to be wherever he needs to go. And we've wanted to get a second person that could do this job, because truth is that Al's not going to do this forever. We're going to need to get somebody else in here. But good luck getting someone that can go on the road, or getting someone that even can work the way shipping needs to work. See, most people think that shipping is basically, you get in a truck, you drive for 8 hours. If you got to drop off a piece of furniture, you drop a piece of furniture, but then you grab a hotel, you stay in the hotel, you get up, have breakfast, you go drive, until you can't drive anymore, then you have some dinner. And truth is, that's not how it works. The way shipping works, if you want to make money at it, is you get your stuff, you leave basically at midnight when there's no traffic, and you drive when there's no traffic. You get up, you sleep in your car, right? Your van in this case. You sleep in that van. You bring your lunch with you, right? And most people have no idea. Because most people treat shipping almost like a vacation in a way. But that's how real shippers do it, and that's why they're able to make so much money, is that they're disciplined about not blowing all of their money on staying in hotels, and eating out all the time. And it's very unsexy, but these guys make fantastic money, but they're very hard to train, because again, most people don't want to be on the road. They don't want to be at different locations all the time. Maybe they want to stay. They got kids. I mean, there's any number of things. It takes a very special person to do that. And anyway, over the years, we've tried to hire multiple people, not with experience, but with no experience, with the intent of training them to do this work. And I've hired immigrants. I've hired black people. And none of them want to do it. It's just they don't want to do it the way our guy does it, and he's the best of the best. I mean, plain and simple. There's nobody that can compete with this guy, and that's why we pay him so well. So truth is, but there's going to come a time where he's not going to want to do this anymore. And the funny thing about him is that I want to say he's in his mid to late 50s. And he's built like a brick shithouse, and just loves moving furniture, loves getting out on the road and driving to all these different cities. And we have such a great collection of customers that a lot of our customers just know him, and he knows them. And so it's basically like he's going to say hi, and he meets his customers. They try and take him out to dinner. They try and give him drinks. They try and shoot the shit with him, and it's a cool thing, And but it's very difficult to get people to do this work, and especially Americans. Like, I don't know what the problem is, but for some reason we're too good for this kind of work anymore, and it's a damn shame, and it is what it is. Other things, I've tried to hire furniture makers over the years, and I've tried to train furniture makers, and I'll tell you guys a story. there was a kid. I had a buddy who owns a glass company, and he calls me. He says, "Man, I got one of my cousins here, and he really needs to learn something. He got this chick knocked up at like I think it was, he was like 19 years old, and he's like, man, this kid really needs to do something with his life. He's a good kid, but he's got problems, and said, would you talk to him about becoming a furniture maker, see if you can give him a job?" And I was like, yeah, no problem. And anyway, he shows up, and I tell him like, hey man, this is what the job is, and you're gonna show up. This is when you're going to show up, and this is the job. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to train you, so this is what I'm going to pay you, and I'll start you out at whatever. I think it was like $19 an hour or something like that. And I said, you do this thing for 3 or 4 years, you'll be making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. You make furniture for me, I'm going to pay you really good money, because that means I don't got to make furniture. Well, this kid lasted about, I don't know, maybe 2 months, and slowly started to taper off, more problems, not being able to show up, and this is how it goes. You can give people all the opportunities in the world, and most people just don't want them, And funny story, that guy, he ended up going to the military. His cousin told him, you know what? You get his uncle, I should say, told him, you better get your ass in the military and do something, otherwise you're gonna end up on the street or dead, And that's what he ended up doing. He ended up going to the military, and it was probably the best thing for him. And I hope that kid's doing great. But point is that. I've had people tell me like, oh, you just need to pay people more money. People just got paid more money. That would fix everything. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Like, I don't know how many people I've told this story many times. Like, you can pay someone $20 an hour on Monday, right? And then tell them on Tuesday, you're going to pay them $40 an hour. You're going to get the same job performance. You have all the same problems. You're going to get the same attitude. It's going to be exactly the same. Money is not the problem. It's the mindset of the American worker. And it's in bad shape, guys. And I see it so much. I've tried to hire guys that were like tradesmen. I tried to hire a guy who was he was a lifelong welder and just loved working with his hands, making things. And he didn't have the best skills in the world. But I remember he literally brought a bunch of photos on his phone, showed me what he made. It was all kind of basic shit. But I was like, yeah, you're a good guy. Believe it or not, I think he was actually from the home state that I was from. And I gave the guy a job and paid him exactly what he wanted. I think it was like $27 an hour or something like that. And anyway, I put him to work. Well, lo and behold, he has trouble showing up to work on time. And his wife is a stay-at-home wife, but he's spending more time at home, I think, than she did. Just always having freaking issues. And the quality of work it wasn't terrible. But all these other problems outside of work created a lot of problems at work. So again, another example of the struggle of hiring people for your company. And that's part of why I think a lot of people don't even want to start businesses, because like, who would want to deal with this shit? Like, it's funny, like, people put up a good front, but when it's your boss, like, your boss knows everything, because the truth is that you can't hide from your problems, because you make your boss a part of your problems. And again, immigrants don't do any of this stuff. So, okay, we got, who is this? Liam, what are you saying here? I'm just a lurker who wants to ask if you have thoughts about getting your kid into 3D modeling so that you could work together. He designs and you make. No, that's funny. So that's actually, Liam, that's a great question. And I'll be completely honest with you, okay? Here's what you're not going to get from most people. Okay, truth is that I don't have much of a relationship with my kid. Like, his mom lives in Kansas and I live in Missouri, and we've never gotten along. And truth is that my son, it's not that he doesn't want to do what it is that I do, it's that he doesn't understand my life situation. So he's chosen to kind of, what's what I'm looking for? He's gravitated towards what the people around him do, right? Since I'm not around as much as I should be, the people around him have kind of got him into certain things, and he wants to be a welder, which is really cool. He's super interested in underwater welding, which is amazing, because my dad is a welder and also a scuba diver and can do all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So that's really cool. But when you said 3D modeling, so when I was going through my custody battle and dealing with what every man in America deals with, the family court system, which is it's just a futile effort. I mean, I think most people would agree. Like, the family court system in this country is insane. If you're a man, like, just don't even fight it. Like, whatever they tell you to do, just do it. You're never going to win. Doesn't matter what the situation is. But point is that when I was going through all that, that was one of the things that I had said to our mediator when we were trying to figure out custody and visiting schedules and child support and all kind of stuff. Was that my son could come learn SolidWorks and learn design, and that he could go to school for design work. And that's the thing that these guys were all curious with. They're like, well, what's this kid going to do for college? What's he going to do after school? And if I'm being completely honest, like everything I said to those guys, it was all bullshit, every ounce of it, because I don't believe in college. If you're doing something that is for college, right? Like you're in a STEM field, you want to be an engineer or get into some kind of crazy science field or become a doctor or something like that. Like school makes sense. But learning like 3D modeling and CAD, like no, that's a you come work with me situation. I'll teach you everything about CAD while you're working for me. Like there's no reason to go to school. Like why not come work for me and get paid instead of paying someone to teach you information that is actually outdated and probably not even used in the industry. So I actually looked at doing that, and that would have been a dream come true for me. Also, I remember when my son was he was talking about wanting to make videos. He was really into YouTube videos, and followed a bunch of creators. And again, I make tons of content, and it's not always the best content, but he could have absolutely done that. Like I would love to have had my kid around, to do video, help him do video, show him how to edit video, create videos, and do all that kind of stuff. Because if you guys go on Modern Woodrunner, the YouTube thing, I've got all kinds of videos on making furniture, all this crazy furniture we make here. I've got videos of most of it. And believe it or not, those videos help me to sell furniture, which is really cool. A lot of people find the resplendent crow, and then they end up on YouTube watching the videos of me making stuff, which is really cool. But anyway, point is that, yeah, I would have liked to have done that, and it would have been a great father-son thing, to be quite honest with you, but just wasn't meant to be, and never say never, right? He's going to turn 18, let's see here, 18 next April. And so there's time, but I mean, I don't know. I don't hold out much hope. And my stories is, I mean, everyone knows the dad stories in America. Like they're all pretty much the same, I think, at this point. So anyway, I hope that answers your question, Liam. It's not the most heartwarming story there is, but it's true, right? So it's the honest situation. So yeah, I wish I could do that. And I've talked at length about how it saddens me that, like, my wife's got 2 kids, I've got 1. And that none of our kids want anything to do with our company, like just zero, which is a perfect microcosm for what I'm talking about today. Americans don't have the skills to do this work, and they will, it'll come back, but they don't. Like this idea of showing up on time, and you can't even get people to work at a building. They all want to work from home, especially like the younger they are, the more they want to work from home, and good luck convincing them that that's a fool's errand, and that's not a good way to grow your skills. It's not a good way to grow the relationships within the company that you work for. In fact, it actually pisses off a lot of people. So yeah, I don't know, Liam. Like that is what it is, So again, I hope you appreciate the honesty, and yeah, it would be nice if I could do that. I've tried to teach people CAD, and that's very difficult, to be quite honest. I don't know if I could teach just anybody how to draw stuff. There's a lot of concepts. Like, good luck getting people to understand planes and extruded parts and sweeps and lofts and all these kind of concepts. People just want it to be done in AI, which is where all that work's going to end up with at some point. So anyway, but back to the point of the discussion about Americans not having the skills today. I see it everywhere. And I don't know what to do to fix the problem other than to talk it out and to call it out when I see it and to just be brutally honest with people. I don't know, do you guys see that in your workplace? I mean, are there a lot of people that just lack these skills that I'm talking about? I can't be the only person that sees this kind of stuff. I know when I worked for Gulfstream Aerospace, we didn't have a lot of that. A lot of people could show up and people were very pleasant, and there wasn't a lot of drama. But what I did see a lot of out on private jets is a lot of people would just go out there and just hang out. They wouldn't really work much, which is, again, that's the relationship between the employee and the boss. If the boss isn't there to watch you, what are you doing? How honest with yourself are you being? Are you one of these, like there was this guy I'd go out with and I'd work with on planes, and he'd literally sit there and watch Netflix on his phone. While I'm buried under the back of a vanity, trying to cut holes or replace plumbing or something to that regard. Like this guy, like he was just fucking worthless. And I know we all have those stories. I'm not trying to tell stories about that kind of stuff necessarily, but what I'm getting at again is that people have to be honest. Like you have to be willing to take criticism today, and people don't want to do that. Like you try and tell somebody, like I had a guy, like I shit you not, guys. Literally, he was on his phone live casting about what he was doing while he was at work working for me. When I asked him about it, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I got a bunch of people that I talk to about my work. I show them what I'm doing. And I'm thinking like, what in the fuck is going on? And we end up shit-canning that guy. Shocker. But these people, they just don't know. And if you don't tell them, they're never going to know, right? And the truth is that, honestly, I had several conversations with this employee about his conduct at work. And he just didn't know it. And part of me believes that he honestly didn't know sometimes. But the other thing is, if this guy's that dumb, like you can't have him working for you. Like you just can't. Not when you're working around dangerous tools and flammable chemicals and all the shit that we have to deal with in the furniture game. Like, no way. You can't have those kind of people around. And anyway, yeah, it's a damn shame, So we're left with the immigrant workforce, right? And so let's talk about the immigrant workforce. So there's a big difference between a first-generation immigrant and a second-generation immigrant. Massive difference. The first-generation immigrant just wants to work, just wants to make a good job, because the truth is that those people are coming from a place where we're going to end up. Like we don't understand that, but they're coming from a place where they don't have all the opportunity, and they don't have all of the cool things we have here. Great roads, access to like whatever you want to do. It's here. Whether you want to go bowling or you want to take your kids to a movie or a better school, and we don't have all the violence, and we don't have the dishonesty. We don't have gangs. We don't have whatever people are fleeing when they come to America. Generally, they're fleeing some kind of a dictatorship, a repressive state. I had a guy come from Syria, work for me, fantastic woodworker. I mean, great freaking woodworker, and ended up getting his citizenship here about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and became an American citizen. And I love that story. Like one of the best employees I've ever hired, and it's good because he is an example of what more people should be like here in America. But it saddens me because he's the one that's the good example. Like, where are the people that look like me? And they're just not out there. They're not out there anymore, and I don't know why that is. And it just, like I said, it really bothers me. But these people, they come from places, when they get here, the thought of being able to go to work for 8 or 10 hours a day is one of the greatest things that they can possibly ask for. And it feels really good to have those people working for you, because the people that look like me, that are just normal average Americans, we all take it for granted. And we think that, we're never paid enough money and we don't get enough benefits, and fuck this guy, he fucked me over, and I don't like that person's a bitch, my boss is trying to get rid of me. There's every reason in the world to bitch about what somebody else is doing, and none of them want to look in the mirror and be like, no, it's actually the problem more than likely is you. And immigrants don't have that mindset. And again, I talked about my wife is from India. And I'll tell you, I've never gotten such a great perspective on America and the way our businesses work, the way our people are, than from these immigrant people that I've met in my life. I mean, my wife's family, like, listen to those guys talk about hard times, and listen to those guys talk about what life is like living in India, and then modern India at that. It's very different than what we have going on here today. And we don't appreciate it. And that's why I'm always saying, like, cut the welfare off, get rid of all of it, right? Because it would force people to need to take criticism, to learn skills, and to cut out the bullshit. And it's not a popular thing to say. I get it, but that's how I've always felt about it. Like, I'm tired of it being so easy for people. And there's tons of people who will say, it's not easy. And I disagree. It's not hard enough, and people are able to make their lives even more difficult because there's always something else to fall back on. When my wife moved here, her biggest fear when she moved here with her husband, got divorced later, I mean, much later on, and then when she started this company. Her biggest fear was failing and having to move back in with her ex-husband because it was the only person that she knew, and that's wild. I mean, that's wild. I mean, this is a person that moved halfway across the globe to be in America and left everything. There's no family. There's no anything here. It's either you make this work or that's it. Like, there's no other option. And I think that's what we're missing today in our society is we got too many options. There's too many people out there that they go from job to job to job to job to job because if it doesn't work out, well, so what? They'll go over to this job. And if the job situation doesn't work out, well, then there's welfare, right? Someone in the family knows how the welfare system works, and they'll go figure that out. And me as a taxpayer, either I can pay you, right, and you can pay taxes into the system, or I can pay taxes and pay for you to be on welfare, right? So either way, I'm going to have to pay you. I would rather pay you to come work for me. But you have to be willing to learn. And again, we just don't want to do it. There's too many people today that don't want to fucking work. And it's worse than that. It's not only they not want to work, they don't want to be good at anything. And it's probably because they've never been good at something. They've never had people build them up, right? They haven't had people tell them, hey, good job. Like, no, you're getting better. It's like, nope, it's not like this. We're going to do it like this, but you're on the right track. So here, try this again. It's okay to make mistakes. These people haven't heard this stuff. So they think that anytime they make a mistake, like it's over. Like, and they just beat back down and they're back to zero, but they're not. They can learn things and they can become a part of something, become part of a company and grow with it. And I don't think they understand that. These immigrants that come in, they don't care. They just want to work. They're freaking, that's their only mindset. All they want to do is learn, make money, work hard, go home, support their families, and rinse and repeat. That's it. Rinse and repeat. And for some reason, us American workers, we forgot about that. Like, I've never asked my boss for money. Not one time. And I moved away from my family when I was 19 years old. I didn't have to move across the globe like my wife did, right? I moved across the country, but I didn't have to move across the globe. Everyone still spoke English. Like, the people that live in India, English is not their first language, by the way, right? So, and same thing with these immigrants. When these immigrants come here, they don't even speak the fucking language most of the time, or they speak it very poorly, and yet they figure out how to operate in society without being a burden. They figure out that, hey, if I do a good job and I ask questions and I learn that I make more money and I get to work my way up in a company and do the things that I want to do, get more opportunities. And the people that live here don't give a fuck. So anyway, I'll probably end this discussion at this point. I just want to have a very honest, candid conversation about American employees versus immigrant employees and what I've seen as an employer in my years as a business owner and working in manufacturing. Like, it's just, people want to say that, employers want to hire cheap labor and all this bullshit. And they're all projecting. That's all. It's basically, they just suck at what they do. And they're pissed off that there's somebody who doesn't speak English who can do your job better than you. Someone who hasn't even lived here, doesn't even understand how the system works, can do a job better than you, who has lived here for your entire life, can't figure it out. Like, that's what pisses everybody off more than anything. It's like, you guys people, I say you guys, but people just badmouth all these people. And I'll say one more thing, right? So we got this whole, like, deportation thing coming in. And there's a lot of talk about deportation. Ever seen, like, the riots out in LA and stuff like that? And the truth is that there are a ton of illegal immigrants in this country. I'll admit it. Like, it is what it is. And something needs to be done. I'm 100% behind it. The law is the law, right? It is what it is. I'm not a sycophant for illegal immigration or any kind of immigration. And there's the other side of the coin says, well, we're a country made up of immigrants, and these people are disgusting. Yeah, we're a country of immigrants, but we're also a country of rules. So we need to follow the rules. But I'm here to tell you that if it comes down to giving a job to a first-generation immigrant versus an American, I'm going with the immigrant every time. Like, the math just doesn't work for hiring Americans anymore. It just doesn't. And it pains me to say that as as someone that hires and fires people. Americans don't want to work anymore, and it's a damn shame. And it saddens me to say it. But I don't know what to do. I don't know how we get more people in this country doing good work and giving an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. Like, I don't know what the problem is, why more people don't want to work. And the people God, this is get me in trouble, but one of the things that really bothers me is I think one of the things that we've done is that we've told people that they could do whatever they want, and we gave them a bunch of money to go do it, and they all went to college, and now they're all saying, well, hey, that didn't work. Can you pay off my loan so that I go then do the next thing? I can go work on my next bad idea. And I've said it before, parents need to do a better job of driving their kids in the right direction. And it's easy to say, well, that's what I was told to do. And everyone said college, 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 college. And again, my dad didn't say that. I was never told that college was the best idea. My mom tried to get me to go to school 3 different times in my life, and I couldn't do it. Didn't have it in me. We need more people work with their hands. We need more people coming to work, doing a good job, and being honest about their situation, honest about what it is that they do, and putting their best foot forward again. And until we do that, immigrants are going to eat our lunch, 100%. Because they want to work. They value doing a good job. They take pride in doing a good job. Pride is dead in this country. People don't give a fuck about what they do. They don't care about their situation. And it just really bothers me. Oh boy, Sun Susan here. See Tim the tired man. Hey, cocky. Yeah, Mr. Cocky. That's right. I'm the cocky one. No, it's Son. We're just in here talking, having an honest conversation about the American worker versus the immigrant worker and the stuff that I've seen over my years. And the American worker is in trouble. Man, they're in a lot of trouble, man. It's if you got a choice between hiring a first generation immigrant and a freaking American worker, I'm hired a first generation immigrant every single time, and it's bad deal. I don't like to say that, but that's what this channel is. I tell everyone this is an honest conversation about running a business, and it can be honest about making furniture. It can be honest about hiring people, taxes, pay, all these kind of things. Marketing, advertising, websites, whatever it might be. It's just the real reality of running a company and what we see as business owners and the kind of shit that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. See, just joined. I'm very late. Yeah, no, it's okay. You're not going to get every stream, Another thing, Son, I did a talk earlier today about people taking care of themselves, and I think as craftspeople and tradespeople, we've been told a long time that this kind of work with your hands, working outside, doing heavy demanding work, just wears your body down, and you shouldn't do it. And that's one of the reasons to go to college, is because it's going to wear your body down. You're just gonna hate it later in life because of all that hard work you did. And the truth is that if you don't exercise, you don't take care of yourself, and you don't do kind of the basic kind of lifts to keep your body strong, you will wear down because your body tends to compensate for your weaknesses by using other motor mechanisms within your body. And so it's really important that if you want to take care of yourself for the long term, that you do cardiovascular exercise on the regular, which is going to be 30 to 45 minutes of 130 beats per minute on your heart, which means you're probably going to have to run or ride a bike. Drinking beer with extreme intensity it doesn't count. And you're going to have to lift some kind of a weight. I mean, just plain and simple. People's bones break down as they get older. And one of the best ways to combat osteoporosis and things like that is to run. It's to lift weights. Walk around carrying heavy weight, and it's very good for your bone structure. So certain things we just need to do, and not enough people talk about this kind of stuff. And I know it's not super popular, but I feel it's kind of important to talk about. People should do some kind of a squat or a deadlift, or like a Turkish get-up, or even hell, just getting a Swiss ball. Get a Swiss ball and just practice moving around in that Swiss ball. The motions within your body, the strain on your muscle systems will be amazing. And that's the stuff that really needs to happen, because your body gets so used to doing certain kinds of activities over decades that when you have to do something that is out of the ordinary very quickly, that's where injury happens. And you can prevent that by using your body more regularly. And again, it's not hard. You have to do what I did, crazy long endurance events and obstacle course racing and all that kind of shit that I did for, a decade.
You don't have to do that stuff. You can just exercise, just lifting dumbbells. Like, it's so simple. So anyway, I know this conversation is again, not going to be a super popular one, but son, go back and listen to it, because you might see some of the same things. And again, it's not that I'm not trying to shit talk on the American worker. I'm concerned about the American worker, and I really want people to be able to work with their hands, work for good companies, do a good job, make money, and enjoy what it is that they do. And I'm getting tired of people, talking shit on immigrant workers and the immigrant workforce. The people that come to this country seeking the opportunity that we all actually have, but don't even take advantage of. Like, we're so complacent and decadent that we don't chase opportunity. And we live in the greatest country on earth. We have every opportunity in the world. And again, go talk to an immigrant. Ask an immigrant why they're here. Why are they here in America? Why didn't they try to get to Spain? Why didn't they try to get to, Russia? Why does everybody want to come to America? And it's because we have all the opportunity in the world. We have all the work in the world. The reason so many immigrants are here is because Americans don't want to do the fucking work. They don't want to do it. And again, college has told them that they don't have to. All you gotta do is get a degree, get an office job, and you're gonna be rich like Bill Gates. And the truth is, it's all a lie. Total lie. So anyway, I hope everyone has a great day. We'll do another talk tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm gonna talk about. I've got a lot of social things that I want to talk about, but I'm trying to stick to work and the business of making money and furniture making and painting and stuff like that. So I'll come up with something, and we'll do more again. Again, I'll do What's in the Shop on Friday, which, holy shit, that's tomorrow. Oh, my crotch mahogany veneer came in today. It's right behind me. I'll show you guys that tomorrow. I've also got some beautiful walnut that came in. I'm working with a company called, what are they called? Oakwood Veneer Company. And they sent me a bunch of cool stuff. So I will show you guys what I have. It's beautiful, beautiful veneer. We're working on several pieces together. And I'll show you guys that. I got lots of sideboards going and credenzas going. I got some cool china cabinets to show you guys. And it should be a good one tomorrow. We actually got a lot of shit in here. So anyway, all right, son, let's see what you got real quick. And then I'm going to get out of here. Okay, yeah, I'll listen. I like your content. I'm trying to watch enough of the videos to help get watch hours up. And notice your channel is growing fast. Yeah, try. Yeah, and son, man, I really appreciate that. Like, it's not easy to develop a following on YouTube. In fact, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to be all things to all people, right? So that's why I'm trying to stay kind of committed to doing these live streams and just talking about what I'm talking about. And if people like it, great. If they don't like it, fine. But I'm just trying to stay kind of in my lane a little bit. I can do other kinds of content. I know someone has asked me about hiring. I need to do I'll do a video on hiring, exactly what I do when it comes to hiring people. And I've had some great successes hiring people, and I've had some just catastrophic failures hiring people. That's one thing people don't understand about hiring, is that people say, oh, you just got to pay money, pay them enough money, pay them enough money. You can hire somebody, and they can, no matter what you pay them, they could end up costing you a fortune. So you got to be very careful hiring people. It's not always as simple as just paying people enough money. So there's a lot that goes into hiring people. So, okay, son, YouTube is a hard game unless you luck out and go about. Yeah, I've heard that, and I don't believe in luck. But I do believe in the harder I work, the luckier I get. Which I forget. I think Thomas Jefferson or somebody smart said that. But that's 100% true. And yes, this idea of going viral is a thing, and clearly it happens. And maybe I doubt it'll happen with woodworking content. We're talking it's so amazing talking about a business. Like, people just love, when you tell them about, how you make money and how you don't make money, and they just, it's probably never going to go viral. But that's okay. I like it. I'm a big proponent of people starting businesses and getting into working with their hands, doing trades jobs, making furniture, painting, all these kind of things. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about it, and it just is what it is, guys. So, son, again, I really appreciate you here. I got several people on this channel who participate regularly, and again, I hope you guys are doing good, and we'll continue this conversation tomorrow, and that will be about it. So, you're saying 5 years to take traction. Well, I'm at year 2, so I'll keep working out. There's one thing I'm good at. It's beating my head against a wall. I've done it for 20 years, and I'll do it for another 20. So, everyone have a good day. Bye.